Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Esports Analysis. Today we hop back on board with Formal as he, RCD's Envoy, Scump, and Gunless take on CLAYSTER, CRIMSIX, Shotzi, Illy, and Huke from the Dallas Empire. We're playing St Petrograd and we're playing Hardpoint. As we go ahead and hop into this one, I think this is the third map that we've spotlighted with these two teams. I know that these are probably two of the top 3 or 4 teams in the game right now, and I just love the way that they match up. I love that there are two really true main ARs, two dominant ARs. I love that there are two super aggressive SMGs for Dallas when it comes to Huke and Illy. I just love the way that they play the game. I love the way that they're always in your face. So I just like this matchup. And then, of course, you have all of the storylines with CRIMSIX, with Optic last year, and all of the drama and stuff like that. So I don't know. There just seems to be a little bit extra whenever these two teams play. Now, with that being said, as we go ahead and get into the analysis here, you can see that this is absolutely not going Chicago's way. So right now, obviously what they're trying to do is they're trying to push out that back bar spawn. So the first hardpoint, again, not really all that important. The second hardpoint is super important because if you have that back bar spawn, then you can go ahead and you can take advantage of the majority of those 60 seconds. Now, the issue is that if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, the lead is 55-0. So I know that they put all of their resources forward in terms of Chicago. They put all of their resources into trying to flip spawns, but at some point in time, you absolutely cannot give up 55 points on that first hill. It's just you just can't do it. That hill is supposed to be like some scrap time, maybe 10 or 15 seconds here. So giving up 60 seconds almost there on that hill, it's going to put you in a serious hole. Now, in terms of what's on screen right now, Formal ends up getting flashed, and then he ends up dying. There's somebody on that head glitch. I think it's CLAYSTER on that van head glitch. Yeah, CLAYSTER just picked up a 2-piece. He's on that van head glitch. But let's take a look at this here. So Chicago ended up flipping spawns, so they have the spawn that you want. But because those head glitches are so strong and CLAYSTER is slaying out, that's like 4 or 5 kills in a row that we've seen from CLAYSTER right there. He finally goes down to RCD's, but yes, they have the spawns that you want to have, but if you look in the top middle of your screen, there's only 7 seconds left, and they're still just now getting that scrap time. So as we go ahead and rotate here, not only did they not get the majority of those points in that second hard point, but now they're spawning on the complete opposite side of the map that you want to be on as we go ahead and rotate into this third hard point. Now, a couple things that I've seen in my comments recently, and I want to go ahead and point this out. Not only do they not have spawns, they're also having trouble getting into the hardpoint, and the reason why they're having that trouble is because, so yes, Dallas has spawns, they're in the hardpoint, but they're pushed up into choke points. So they're not even allowing, like right there, Formal just went down, they're not even allowing Formal to get on that side of the map. So yes, they have spawns, yes, they're in the hardpoint, and their ARs are pushed up to mid-map to where you can't even get close. That's really what you want to do if you're playing hardpoint. You don't just want to sit back and if you die, if you get killed, if you go 5 down while you have control of the hard point, then it's probably going to flip the spawns and you're going to end up losing it. So what teams will do is they'll push people up to like mid-map if they can, and if you get kills there, then now you're just locking down the vast majority of that time. Now, as there's about 3 seconds left in the current hardpoint, we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus on that bar hardpoint, so that 4th hardpoint. If you look at the mini-map in the right-hand corner, this is going to play exactly like 2, so you want to hold down those back bar spawns. Now, this is a really good job of those inside the hardpoint of holding this down. So here in a second, you're going to see Formal dies, and then immediately Seth dies. So the 2 people that are trying to push out and lock down those choke points end up dying, which means the only people that are left are RCD, Envoys, and Gunless, who are basically in the hill. So remember, we just talked about this. The way that you lock down the vast majority of time on hills like this, especially ones that are on the outside of the map, is that you push up and you hold down choke points. So in a lot of instances, when those that are pushed up, like Formal and Seth, go down, that's when these hard points end up flipping hands. But we just talked about this. There, RCD's gets another 2-piece in the hill, and you can see that the hill time is still blue, which means Chicago is still capitalizing on the time there. Now, it does get flipped. They get pushed out, but it's not a big deal. You would take 40 points worth of a hard point if you give up, 5 or 6 at the end there. So that hard point, they did a really good job of holding that one down, and it goes a lot towards those that were actually sitting inside the hard point, not those that were pushed up into choke points getting kills as people tried to enter the hard point. Now, last but not least, let's talk about this 5th hardpoint. This 5th hardpoint is a lot like the first hardpoint. It's right in the middle of the map, so if you can capitalize and get 20, 30, 40 points, that is fantastic. But if you look at the bottom right, if you look at the mini-map, where you want to be is you want to be spawning on the side that Chicago's spawning on right now. And let's think about this. The spawns for number 5 don't really matter all that much, just like the spawns for number 1 don't really matter all that much. But where you start to rack up the points is when you control spawns for number number 2. So these teams are already thinking ahead. Yes, it's beneficial to be on this side for 5, but they're thinking ahead. They're thinking past the 5th hard point. They're thinking past the 1st hard point. They're trying to hold down this side of the map so that they have spawns when it finally rotates back to that 2nd hard point. As we go ahead and we rotate back to the 2nd round of rotations, this is usually when I like to do a listen in. So just kind of pay attention here to this first hill. Again, this first hill is supposed to kind of be scrap time, and they end up losing a lot of these points here. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead. Let's listen to a listen in, and then you can kind of hear what they're talking about as we move forward.
Deep mid or not, Clay? Clay's deep mid. Clay's deep mid.
Wait, we're 4 dead.
Clay's deep mid. Yeah, they flood this hill hard, bro. They flood this hill hard.
I mean, dump already.
Yeah, dump got me.
Dump went to the right.
One push out of old.
Dump Crim still. Dump Crim still. He's going to the right now. He went courtyard. Or top left.
One already in new.
Here.
Shotzi's already in new.
He just pushed back kitchen. I think. Yeah, he's right here close.
Nice, you got him.
I got him. I'm watching right straight.
Mid street's open. So you know.
I'm trying to work mid.
I'm getting river straight. They could be courtyard, guys.
Close left.
You guys see my courtyard?
I'm trying to look at.
Hazel, good shot.
Thank you, John.
Courtyard, two. One more courtyard. Illy.
Good job, Seth.
Illy's bottom blue.
Illy dead.
Good job. I'm holding right.
Lower top blue.
I'm in there.
Getting top blue.
Shotzi.
Top blue.
They're jumping my front hill.
Good place.
Make sure after you die, rotate in the hill.
Top blue weak, bro.
Rotate
Like,
Right, these guys love courtyard, bro. Court on right street. Court and river street. Courtyard, river street.
I got one
Corner.
front.
no one
Getting front.
crossing.
What?
Tyler hit front bar.
He's in hotel.
I spawned
Get
court.
in
Top
hotel.
blue.
He's
Top
running around
blue.
in
Top
smoke.
blue.
Like,
I spawned out.
Back
I
down,
got
dude.
top blue. Top
He
blue.
spawned
Top
river.
blue.
There's no hotel dead. More hill.
Just hopping back with you for just a second. Look, they had control of the spawns, they had control of the hard point, and if you just don't slay out sometimes when it matters, look what can happen. So they were back there, they were set up, they were in the hard point perfectly, but they didn't get the kills, and sometimes that's all it takes. So with 28 seconds left in this hard point, they're not in position to get the majority of this at all.
One more in the back. Nice, one more hill. I'm gonna rotate when I spawn.
Two more at old.
Well, they're already on now. If we're hitting that.
One more.
They're not.
I don't think they are.
One's gonna be there.
There's one. It's Clay. Look for. Okay,
No,
it's
he's
Clay.
still.
We are looking for Hugh.
I'm the scrap
That's
master,
him.
bro.
That's all.
Flushed
That's
out.
all.
I'm top hazmat, okay? Someone play deep right? Yeah.
Okay.
I spawned
Yeah,
archer,
right?
that's
Yeah,
what
Seth
archer.
has right?
Yeah,
You guys love
yeah,
courtyard.
yeah.
I'm playing top.
I have your
Watch mid
left
lane.
cross. He didn't cross you yet.
I'm playing top.
Yeah,
Watch mid
he's
lane.
in
Clay.
Good job.
Dead.
Seth, I have your mid. Seth, I kind of have your mid tracks. I'm on the back house. I'm on the back house. These guys like right. They're hitting right, guys. They're hitting right.
Arm left.
Mid alley. Mid alley to hill.
Back him. He's
Mid
dead.
alley to hill.
Crim
Nice.
Minelli, Crim Minelli, get the
Front
time.
right.
I need help, guys. I'm trying to get time.
There's 20 left.
Mid alley, dead.
Nice, get help. One's gonna be in front of me.
I need
Come on, mid alley, ender.
Hold my mid.
Illy dead.
Get the time.
One hill.
I'm going right.
Let me left.
One
We're just
shot.
laying down.
Two
hill.
Rotated.
I'm through right. You guys gotta play that time.
Yeah, we'll play it.
He's back left. Pushed up.
Coming
Left
close
side
off.
dead.
Coming close off.
One hill. Jumped out, Kyler. Kyler's one shot back door.
I got Ilya rotation.
He ran away river. Okay, they're gonna be river.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hop back into this with you guys. What I will say is that I uploaded a video with these two teams probably like 3 or 4 days ago where Empire went ahead and they put Chicago in the 50-point club. So it was like 250 to 45. It was an absolute beatdown. So they did make this a little bit respectable, a little bit commendable at the end. Other thing that I'll say is that towards the end of this video, once this is over, there was a little bit of an argument. Gunless got really heated, and this is why. So if you look at the mini-map right now, there are 2 people watching this front, and there's nobody pushed up. So Gunless ends up getting killed from behind here. Right now, there's nobody watching his back. So Gunless ends up going down. He doesn't really understand why, but Chicago just wasn't pushed up far enough. They weren't pushed up into the chokes, and they weren't able to watch his back. So this is really like a heated discussion towards the end of this game. But honestly, I just think for the most part, these guys were frustrated. How many times can you lose to Dallas when it's really kind of like a heated rivalry, right? If you had to say what the biggest rivalry is right now going into the CDL, it's probably these two teams. So I think that they're just a little tired of losing. They might be getting a little bit snippy with one another, but I think that will end up sorting itself out in the end. So if you're new around here, thank you guys so much for checking out another video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. I'm really excited for the content heading into the CDL. Don't leave without leaving a like, and I will catch you in the next one. We'll see you guys.